Hey everybody, it's LavenderTowne, and today I wanted to talk about things I do to spice up my OCs when they're getting kind of boring. So the first character design thing that I absolutely love putting in to spice up my OCs is a stylized imperfection, or sort of like a glorified imperfection. A lot of characters, when you're first starting out, you just want to make them like as pretty or handsome or cool looking as possible, and that makes total sense. But as you develop, at least for me, I got really interested in imperfections, things that would usually get edited out if, let's say, you were doing like a professional modeling job and someone was taking your picture. That like smoothed out airbrush kind of look that you see where like even the women's armpits are just Barbie smooth. You want to go the opposite way and like really start to highlight things like freckles and molds and stretch marks and scars. And this is something that I love seeing in art so much, and I incorporate in my own art sometimes when I'm building an OC. One of the things I like to do are, of course, like the glowing golden scars. It kind of reminds me of that Japanese kintsugi ceramics technique, this idea that being broken in the example of ceramics could actually make a piece more beautiful. I like applying that to like human injury as well, and I've seen other artists do this as well, which I think is so cool. I also love eye bags. I like taking molds and making constellations out of the different shapes that they make on a person's face. Just stuff like that, stuff that usually would be like seen as a imperfection or a negative thing, and making it really beautiful in your art or your character. Something I've been experimenting with more is taking stretch marks and making them like little lightning bolts, which you can actually see on this character here, and also just little like chub rolls on the side, where a character will bend. You don't even really need to have that much weight on your body to have a little roll of like flesh, because that's how we move around, but it's still remarkably uncommon to actually see that out and about. And so I think that it's fun to incorporate in your art, and it kind of like normalizes these human things and makes things that we're told are ugly beautiful. So it's one of my absolute favorite things. Also stuff like stylized braces, just teeth that aren't like perfectly straight across, and yeah, stuff like that. I just find it really makes characters look unique. So you can really just take anything that you personally are insecure about and try to think about the shapes or the look of that thing and try to turn it into a symbol or something that you find beautiful. I find this is honestly kind of therapeutic. Like, it can be really nice to see on your OCs something that you don't like in yourself, and seeing how you can make it look beautiful or interesting or cool. I don't know, it's really something that I'm trying to experiment with more and more, and you really have to consciously push back against like the beauty standards that we see all the time. So this can be a fun way to do that, as well as it just makes your characters look totally your own. The next thing that I totally love when I see in other people's art, and I'm trying to put into my own art more, is creepy animal traits. Not to be confused with like your cat girls and your bunny girls, or the little floppy puppy ears that people put on girl characters sometimes. I think that's totally adorable too, but the thing that really gets me excited is like weird animal traits, like things you see in the natural world where you're just like, how did that even evolve? Like for example, the glass bellies of certain amphibians where you can just see right into their organs, or things like semi-transparent eyelids, or you can see the eyeball through part of the lid, leopard spotting on the skin, tentacles in the hair, like weird half human half hoof like morphology on the hands. Just anything that's like not super moe and cute kind of anthro traits are really interesting and fun to me. I also like the idea of doing like a spiky cat tongue on a character. I don't know why. I first saw this like semi-transparent eyelid thing on a YouTube short, but I didn't click on it and then I couldn't find it again. So if you guys remember seeing a YouTube short where someone was doing this beautiful, it looked like a painting or maybe even colored pencil of a character with half transparent eyes, please tell me what their artist name is, because I really want to see that image again. It's just such a great example of this thing that I'm talking about. I find for characters that are supernatural, like Fae or, something like that, the natural world can be really fun and inspiring and just really break you out of the mold as far as what a humanoid character can even look like. We kind of replicate patterns that we see a lot, and if you're trying not to put the same type of characteristics onto your character, looking at weird animals that don't usually get emulated is a good place to start, just to get things really, really funky and crazy. Honestly, this made me want to make another fursona. I don't know if I'll dip back into that well, but I've been thinking about my little goat girl and might want to give it another shot. Oftentimes I find that alien designs that utilize stuff that we see in the deep ocean are really, really cool, and that's another thing you can try to get inspired by. Really, I find that being inspired by the natural world is one of the easiest ways to get yourself out of a rut. Oftentimes when I'm feeling kind of bored with what I'm drawing or bored with my OCs, I find that just stepping away, particularly from the internet and your sketchbook, and looking outwards and seeing how weird and wild the real world is, can really help make your work feel fresh again and give you some ideas you might not otherwise have thought of on your own, because there's a lot of wild stuff out there. Even just looking at the eyeballs of different animals like whales and goats, you start to see some really incredible inspiration. This next OC thing is kind of hard to explain at first, but the more I talk, I feel like you'll start to think of OCs that you've seen that fall into this category. I'm just calling it the Surreal anatomy category, but it also kind of dovetails with the shadow face guy. There's a lot of really cool OCs, usually of a guy character who kind of just has a shadow face, he has a mouth and eyes, but other than that, you can't really see, his head is just completely shrouded in darkness. My concept for this one is that he can normally look like a regular guy, but he can also just peel that face off like a mask basically, or like a helmet, and I thought that would be cool. But Surreal anatomy kind of encompasses a lot more than just this. It's also the idea of a character who is partially humanoid, but they can either detach parts of themselves, or parts of themselves just don't work the way you would typically expect. Another good example of this is the mayor from Nightmare Before Christmas. The way that his head flips around like a toy when he gets upset, he goes from his optimistic to his pessimistic, or his outward facing kind of personality to his own actually doubtful personality. I think that this is really cool. This is really fun, and one of the things that you can play with in a visual medium. The Corpse Bride also, her ability to pop her eyes out or remove an arm and it keeps working. These are all kind of proto versions of this idea, but I find that people's OCs are getting even more wild and crazy with it. Even some of the amazing digital circus characters kind of fall into this, just basically making the human body sort of modular and not follow the rules that exist in the real world. I also would consider the object as a human head thing, kind of a subgenre of this, the TV head, or balloon head. Even the Ghibli scarecrow feels kind of similar to this. It's hard to pin down exactly what I'm talking about here, but I hope you guys understand what I'm saying. The shadow face guy is definitely one of my favorites, and though I don't actually have an OC that falls into this category, I just love to see it in other people's art. Trying to make an OC that falls into this category could be really helpful if you feel like your OCs are kind of boring or you're feeling very limited by them. I also think that it would be really great if you just feel like you're needing a character that would fit well in a really horror, kind of magical realism kind of genre. I find that opening up your mind about what your characters can physically do can also make you want to make your story a little bit more unusual and surprising, and giving them a special ability like this, not like a superhero, but kind of in this eldritch horrifying way, can be really fun and fresh. This last one will be no surprise to regular viewers of the channel, but it's something that I think is still quite underrated, and it's something I love so much that I started my entire like Gajinka themed characters based on concept series like a million years ago, and that is a themed character with themed motifs. Basically, this is just the idea that if you make a character built around one motif, they're going to be very consistent feeling, and you're going to have so much fun trying to like pack in that theme into every aspect of their clothes, their hair, their face, their shape language, their color palette. I find it so enjoyable because it's kind of like a limitation, but it's also a jumping off point, and it really starts to feel very satisfying when you realize all the different places that you can hide a motif or an idea. So I'm just doing a quick example here. It's not even as packed as I normally would make it, but I was doing a character based on the night sky. So of course we're putting a moon shape into her eyeball. We're putting all this like round, cloudy kind of shape language onto her. I'm literally putting crescent moons everywhere I possibly can, including in her hair. I'm making these little scallops that mirror her hair and the crescent moons. I'm giving her a little horn that kind of looks like a crescent moon. I'm giving her constellation freckles, which kind of ties into what I was talking about earlier in the video. I'm giving her a little lip ring that looks like a crescent moon. You know, you can expand the idea to have more than just one shape or symbol in it. Like I'm putting lots of stars in here as well. But basically it's just this guiding principle that will be at the core of your character, and it will give you a lot of ideas as you're working, and you will truly be amazed at how much you can pack into a character design when you know the core concept that you're going for. I find that one of the hardest things about making a character is not giving them too many clashing elements, and if your character is strongly themed like this, it helps so much, because whenever you're putting something new on them, like let's say you put a necklace on them, what should that necklace have on it? Oh, it should have a moon or something related to it because this is my moon character. Stuff like that. It's kind of like guardrails on your character design, so it can be limiting, but I find that if you're really struggling and you feel kind of aimless in your character designs, try doing these very focused themed characters, and you might be amazed at how fun it is. And it doesn't have to be something as simple as like a moon shape like I'm doing for this character or the night sky. It can be something really weird like I've done on my, I'll just put the playlist of all the themed characters that I've drawn. I've done poisons, I've done executions, I've done really complicated things that you could really dig into the research on, and that will help guide you as well. It's kind of whatever you want. It can be as simple as like a shape or an animal, or as complicated as an entire time period. It's truly up to you. So those were some of my favorite things to put into my OCs to spice them up. I hope this was helpful to you guys, or at least got you feeling a little inspired, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much to my wonderful members and patrons, including Philip Verbicario, Celery Sticks, I'm a Potato, Prince Piplup III, Honey Kitten, Nee Nico, Novel Goblin, Loro, Dada, Lily McFarlane, Artist James, Skitten, Gold Pikachu, Clad, Songbird Galesworth, Sunshine, Whimsic, Asri Cryptid, Hoodle Doodle, River the Goblin, Raz Tarosh, Kobe Octo VTuber, Graveyard Moss, Grexius, Maddie Momo, The Midwestern Menace, CB, Lucy Amajiki, Live Live, Raven's Crow, Zocelot, T-Hill Music, Jabber Dabber Doo, Light Jewel, Kadaria, The Expressive Poker Face, Tsubaki, Cutie Pie, Ice Cream Pal, Kola, JJ Jade, and of course, Blah 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 Blah.